Not prepared. Sorry for the other. Trying to watch some videos. Try to see some videos. Rare 1977 penny. Abandoned Toy R Us.
Don't skip that ad. In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to show you how to start.
I have a really bad feeling about that. Wait, it says. I don't know. Dude, I remember this. I barely went to Toys R Us as a kid, but I remember there was the good stuff. You used to get everything here. Everything. Any toys, Nerf guns.
What's up, guys? My name is
You
Jim.
name it.
Welcome.
Any toy, they got it.
Episode 40. I know.
I know, you told me.
This is the show where we talk about some of the most interesting abandoned places in the world. For this very special 40th episode of Abandoned, I wanted to tackle one of my most heavily requested topics. An iconic American and even worldwide retail brand which has been abandoning stores for years until its recent and permanent bankruptcy. Now set to leave hundreds of stores abandoned across the United States. Let's take a look at Toys R Us. So in this video, I'm just going to be talking about the American side of the brand. The company has been prominent in various countries across the globe, with subsidiaries all somewhat differently affected by the closure. So I'm just going to be focusing on the American and kind of Canadian side of the gigantic retailer. In 1948, 20-year-old Charles Lazarus had founded a brand new retail store called Children's Supermarkets. It was based out of Washington, D.C., where he had originally grown up.
Save it to 30 to 70% every day.
He began selling these items out of the corner of his father's bicycle shop, and eventually grew his children's furniture business to the point where he was able to take over the entire store. By 1957, with sales growing and demand showing promise on selling toys for older children, Lazarus opened a new store based around this concept in Maryland called Toys R Us. The brand, with its new iconic logo, became...
Dude, I miss this. We actually, I have a pegboard that my dad bought, or my dad got me, and it's actually from an old closed Toys R Us store. They got some of their pegboard. Dude, if Toys R Us was closing right now, I'd honestly, I think a lot of them are closed. I wonder if I could, you know what I really want? I was about to say, I know Toys R Us are not bankrupt, but they are fractured today. Like you don't go to a toy store to buy toys. You just go online. You do it. That's how you do it. That's how it is. Yeah, COVID basically. If it was, unless it was like a food or a restaurant, like then it wasn't fractured. But yeah. If they were, I don't know if the one near mine is in business anymore. But too bad I didn't have a car. I'd be searching for like Nerf guns. Imagine if they had it like 90% off. I would start hoarding them. Dude, that'd be awesome. Just hoard a bunch of Nerf guns and sell them, mark them up. You know what I really do want to know? I want to find an old bank, like an old abandoned bank. I'm not talking like a PNC or a Chase. I'm talking like old bank, and see if they have old Wheaties. Although, I did get a hint. One of my teachers that did get participate in a coin challenge. She saw how many coins I brought in, and she guessed, and she won. She won the coins. I actually searched them, and I found 3 Indian heads within these coins. Old. One of them is from 1880. I have one on my desk right now. Let's see. This penny is from 1887. I think 1 year after or before it, Coca-Cola was founded. That's how old this penny is. That's an old penny. And they said they got it out of a bank near ISU in Bloomington. I need to go find and start marking banks, and I need to start getting over there to see if I can get any pennies, because they gotta have some old stuff. Like, Yeah, that's from a bank. I've searched tens of thousands of pennies, and now that there was only 2,800 pennies out in that batch. That was a very small batch of pennies. That's only a little over half of what I do per month, and it gave me double the wheat penny output. I need to find that bank.
Filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. So the founder of the very company they had purchased, Charles Lazarus, had returned to take control of the bankrupt corporation and rename the entire thing into Toys R Us. And just a few years later, to increase cash, the company went public on the stock market in 1978. More stores of the now growing toy chain continued through the Midwest United States at an annual growth rate of 20%. Stores opened with its eye-catching and distinctive vertical rainbow tiles and prominently featured their new mascot, Geoffrey the Giraffe. It didn't take long through the 1970s for Toys R Us to become a household name, and now the largest toy retailer in America. By 1980, the company had 100 stores across the country, and annual sales into 1981.
I barely went to this place, but they did have some good stuff. Good Legos, good Nerf guns to buy. Now, it's really... They had to, but I wasn't really a big toy dude. I was honestly like more of a Nerf blasters and Legos type person. More Nerf blasters than Legos. Although I do like Legos. I do have a good amount of them right now. But they're not really my like hoard is not that big. Like like for the average kid, yes it is, but like still not like if it's not like professional level. I wish I had a ton more bricks. I would build an awesome town. I like how I with my Lego city, I have it have a scrappy appearance, like it's cheaply built together, because it's kind of like I don't have a whole lot of bricks. I didn't have a whole lot of money to buy a whole lot of Legos, so I made a scrappy little town. I like that scrappy town. That's a pretty nice town. I worked so hard on that.
Competitor with their efficiency and rapid expansion. But they also adopted brand new, innovative technology with electronic inventory and information systems, which were implemented into their stores. In 1983, the company made another big move with the opening of their new retail division, Kids R Us.
Oh my god, I can imagine.
1,000 square foot stores focusing solely on children's clothing. While this division wouldn't be the huge success they figured it would be with major problems out of the gates, this didn't stop the company from expanding even further.
Oh my god, I can imagine that when the He-Man toy collection started coming out, that these guys probably profited a hell of a lot of money. Because those toys, apparently, I didn't hear about it. He-Man was a very popular series. In fact, they actually made the dolls and the action figures first before they made the official comics. It was a mass consumerism, like, hysteria. But not like a negative hysteria, like a good one. Because everybody bought that stuff up. In fact, when it came on, when we were watching TV in this one place in Washington, my dad's like, hey, I haven't seen that dude in a while. That, along with TMNT and other stuff, did pop around in the 80s. God, the 80s sounds so good. Well, not for the Soviets, because of Chernobyl. Anyway. Yeah, by the 80s, Soviets were just getting trashed because their economy was garbage, their government was starting to fall apart. Other than the threat of being nuked by the Soviet Union, life in the US kind of seemed great back in the 80s. I can imagine really good days were between 1996, like between September 26, 1996 and September 11th, 2001 had to be a good day. Like, in my opinion, after, like, 9/11 happened, like, things kind of turned sour in the U.S. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine that? Because 1996, Soviet Union fractures. Like, there's no threat. It's awesome. The economy's good. There's no threats. There's no mass shootings, at my knowledge. That had to be a very good... Like, well, the only thing that was a problem in the 90s was actually, murder. Murder was very, very bad back in the 90s. I feel like it's waned now. It has. One, because people just murder people in video games now, and the other is forensic evidence. Like, I'm not kidding you. You could burn a house down. It does not matter. How far forensics have gone. And it's insane. Like, even when they try to burn the evidence, they still get you. It's awesome.
United Kingdom, and many more. This was a rather effective attempt to use the already juggernaut brand from the United States and apply it in different and new markets, hoping to scoop up some of the new market share. This led the company to its new height of sales in 1994, with $8.7 billion. However, this year also marked the ending of Charles Lazarus' CEO position, as he was replaced by Michael Goldstein. While Lazarus remained in the company as a chairman, he was no longer a chief executive leading the company, a position he had successfully been in for 45 years. With the new change, the company underwent a restructuring campaign with efforts to streamline merchandise and close underperforming stores. This effort also included new Kids R Us stores and the introduction of Babies R Us. The main stores would receive new renovations, and in 1997, the company acquired a baby retail chain of 78 stores and reformatted them into the new Babies R Us brand. This division of the company was actually quite successful out of the gate, earning $600 million in sales just within the first few years. However, in the late 1990s, the markets began to change, and as a result, so did the company. Perhaps also their fortune. A new rising retail chain called Walmart began offering low prices on children's toys and especially diapers. Walmart suddenly became a direct competitor of Toys R Us, and around the same time, the internet was becoming more and more mainstream. And as a result, Toys R Us had set up their own website and e-commerce shop. However, competition continued to mount against the retailer. By the late 90s into the early 2000s, almost everything new Toys R Us tried outside of their Babies R Us division proved costly and pretty much unsuccessful. During this time, the company had also killed off its Kids R Us division. The retailer continued to be a popular stop to grab toys in the holiday season. However, outside of those booming weeks, the brand was losing regular customers. On top of this, Toys R Us opened its new flagship store in Times Square, a very costly endeavor that looked incredible, but wasn't really worth the cost. By this time, Toys R Us had a staggering 1,559 stores worldwide, with 701 of them being in the United States. The company had also reached its highest
Alexa,
net sales
what's
ever.
700 divided by 50?
700 divided by 50 is 14.
That's a lot. And I can imagine there wasn't like, 14 stores in freaking Hawaii or Alaska. That's a lot. Like 14 per state, that's a pretty good number. That is a lot of Toys R Us locations.
At almost $12 billion. And while competition grew, Toys R Us was honestly doing fine. While their sales were dropping a little from the 1990s, their debt was manageable, the company had struck an attractive deal with Amazon.com, and the retailer was profiting in the millions. Toys R Us would have to take on billions of dollars worth of debt to start having problems. And that's exactly what happened.
Uh-oh.
In July of 2005, the publicly traded retailer was involved in a leveraged buyout. 3 individual investment companies took control of Toys R Us's shares and pretty much outright purchased the retailer for $6.6 billion. Obviously, no one, not even these 3 firms, had $6 billion in extra cash to spend, so a lot of it was borrowed money. This meant Toys R Us was now taking on nearly $5.5 billion in long-term debt, and the
Oh
company
my
would have
God,
been taken off
idiots.
the stock markets into a privately held entity.
God, some people do not know how to work with money, do they? They borrowed
This was an
$6
extremely risky
billion?
move for any successful company, and Toys R Us would have to perform very well in the coming years to stay afloat. However, things were not going well for the retailer as online sales became more prominent in the industry, with Target now jumping in the mix. Toys R Us's
Target
prearranged
is
deal
not
with
that best
Amazon
for
ended in a
games, but-
costly legal suit after Amazon had begun selling competitors' toys on their site. Toys R Us then began purchasing online toy site competitors, and while this did reduce competition, it also added more debt to the already enormous amount they had. However, sales were reaching $13 billion, with over $300 million in net revenue. Certainly positive growth, but their outstanding debt was eventually going to become a huge problem. By 2010, Toys R Us opened around $800 million worth of stock back up to the public in hopes they can raise money to pay off some of its ever-mounting debt. While the company was operating more than 1,600 stores across the world, competition was becoming even more fierce as Target, Walmart, and the ever-expanding Amazon.com.
Yeah, those three right there,
began to
those are going to
dominate
put the
the toy
hurt on
market.
any competition.
Toys R Us lost a huge percentage of their market share to the now leader, Walmart. By 2012, the downslope of the company became even more apparent, with their net sales at $12 billion and profit of $239 million. While that's still an enormous amount of money, the brand continued to decrease in actual profits and lost hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. The toy retailer was
I hate to say it, but I think one of the things that killed Toys R Us is gaming, because, you know, it's easier to code a game probably than to find a brand new toy that everybody is going to like. Because, you know, everybody wants to buy the game. I never hear people play toys anymore. I kind of think it's kind of sad. I have appreciation for some toys, man. Like, so even the older ones. There's this one toy my dad used to have, and it was like a little car. You know what? I'm sorry. I have to go get that. I'm gonna go show you guys this. It's an antique little toy I have. It's really cool. This is my dad's antique. He lets me have it, but look at this. Look how old this is. I love this. If you know what this is, like, there's a little crank on it. Look at that. It's got bells in it. And it's got little toll booths. You see them inside? They raise up like that. And a little stoplight goes down. And then if the elevator reaches the bottom, then it goes back up. This is broken. Some of the parts here are broken. Like here. Fisher Price parking ramp service center. You got your little fuel bump right here for gas. It's stuck. Little parking garage. Like, this is cool. Look how much craftsmanship this has. You can definitely see it's old. It's got paint peeling away. I love this thing. I used to play with this as a little kid. I love that. Like, that's like a really well-crafted toy right there. That's a pretty good little thing to have. I used to be interested in trains. I don't know why. I had this kid at my school who I think he was definitely on the spectrum. He loved trains. He's like my best friend too. He was addicted to trains. I'm not blaming him for that, and I'm not shaming him for that. Trains are pretty cool. I just never stuck with trains as a kid.
Competition grew. By the next year, with all of
but why can't toys be crafted like they were back then? Now I have like this stupid like potty surprise bull crap. Like, bro, no girl's gonna. I can tell you right now, a girl in this day of age, maybe girls like little girls like it. I guess I don't know why, but no little girl's gonna want something that literally crafts. It's that's like a boy's toy thing, whatever. Man, God, man. Especially, I have to say this, I feel like a boomer right now with Nerf guns, but the Nerf guns that these kids are getting, oh my god, they're awful. I'm sorry, kids. You can defend your elite. They're making elite guns for toddlers. Fight me. And the Rebel series, which is supposed to appeal to girls, but if I were a girl, I'd be like, Why would I use a bow when I can use a blaster? I mean, bows are kind of outdated. I would literally, like, completely annihilate people that had rebel blasters. It was like a girl's theme blaster. I think one of the blasters had, like, a cornering device? I don't know. That seems cool. However, if I were a girl and I wanted a bow-based device, I'd just get the Mega Bow, like the Mega Dart Bow. I have a good amount of Nerf blasters, too. I have, like, the Prometheus. I have... Yeah, actually, my Nerf collection... Where's this pistol? Yeah, this pistol goes right here. I have a really good Nerf collection. It's right here on my wall. That's on my left. That's my Christmas present. I'm missing only 3 red Nerf guns. I'm missing the Nerf, like the Nerf Hypnos, the Nerf Zeus, and the Nerf Apollo. Those red ones I'm missing. I'm missing, like, I think one more of the brand new Rival AccuStrike, and I'm missing all the blue ones except for a charger, although I need to get a charger. The charger I have is broken because I chambered in a bad round. I had to fix it, and it does not work anymore. I have a Nerf Mega XL. The most impractical Nerf gun ever, but it shoots darts the size like that. How big? I'm sorry, how big are these Nerf darts? I have to see. Are they like $half size? Yeah, here's an American $half. Here's a dart. A dart almost, it's a little bit shorter. $half is a little bit wider than the dart. But here's a quarter. Here's a quarter compared to the dart. It's wider than the freaking quarter, but not wider than the $half. It's a big dart. And I'm sorry, I'm not shoot this on stream. Ready? This is a big Nerf gun. Listen to the howl. That's what you hear before you get like normal Nerf gun. It'll like kind of like flick you. No, you're gonna get whole smacked in the face with this Nerf gun. Like it just smacks you. Where'd that Nerf? Where'd that big dart go? Did it roll under the couch? No, it didn't roll under the couch. Sorry, stream. It landed in the lamp. No, where did it go? I shot it right here and it... Did it land like on my couch? Oh god, I feel stupid. I just lost a big... But I think it just dropped. Is that it? Did that just drop? No. That's not it. Man, where did that thing go? Did it drop under the curtain, like behind the curtain? Oh, yep, there it is. God, that's a big dart too. Here's my fist compared to it. I can only hold like 3 per hand. It's a big dart. This gun, I think this gun was like $30, which is actually pretty good. Got it from Farm and Fleet. Yeah, not where you expect me to get guns from. Sorry, I got distracted. I have ADHD. Oh, and my pills are probably wearing off by now.
This was really an eventuality of the situation the company had been in for a while, but now it was finally collapsing. While ToysRUs.com was honestly doing pretty well for the company, it was no match for the now gigantic online retailer Amazon.
Yeah, I always get my toys from Amazon now.
By huge chunks quarter over quarter, and by 2015, the flagship store they sunk so much money into closed permanently after only 14 years of operation. The company was essentially in crisis mode, attempting to save as much money as possible as sales dropped, and Toys R Us continued to close stores across the country in order to save on operating costs. But this also meant that less stores means less
money. That chain reacts. Nerf! Okay, what is it? What is it? Oh my god. Yellow. It looks like early Nerf Elite? That looks like Nerf Alpha? It's not Alpha Strike. It's not the cheap stuff. Like, I don't know. It looks like the same Nerf. like the same Nerf series as what's it called? The Stampede. It looks like a babe. It looks like. Hold on, I gotta see if I can bump the resolution of this video up. It's all right. Oh yeah, it's all. I don't know what it is, but it's old
By
Nerf blaster.
2017, pretty much the perfect storm of problems had plagued the struggling corporation. Toys R Us had finally run out of cash, and was really no longer able to operate the way they were currently structured. So on September 19th, 2017, Toys R Us, both in the United States and Canada, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The company brought in a restructuring firm in hopes they can find a way to turn a profit for the crucial upcoming holiday season. However, the end was in sight for the iconic children's retailer. The decision to file for bankruptcy just before the all-important holiday season was a huge mistake. Not only were consumers a little hesitant to buy products from a publicly bankrupt company, but other retailers saw this as an opportunity. Walmart, Target, and Amazon, which were Toys R Us's largest competitors, all began to undercut the retailers' prices, making the decision to shop at Toys R Us pretty much obsolete. During this time, the toy companies themselves, who Toys R Us buys stock from to sell, were becoming hesitant to even accept orders from the retailer, fearing that Toys R Us was in such heavy debt they wouldn't even be able to make payments. On top of all of this, the general fact among the industry was that toy sales were relatively down for 2017, and for a retailer who exclusively sells toys and is in dire need to make the holiday season profitable, well, this was it. On March 14th, 2018, Toys R Us had officially announced the company had laying off nearly 33,000 employees. Over the past few years, the company had been closing stores across the country, some being left entirely abandoned. And I think with nearly 800 more stores closing down, many won't find a new tenant right away. And that's going to leave a lot of stores, especially in economically depressed areas, abandoned and vacant for quite possibly a very long time.
We had one in Bloomington,
Across
Illinois.
the country, what's left of the iconic toy store is now an empty shell of what used to be a Toys R Us store. Some in better shape than others, almost all of which with those distinct colors and themes throughout, hinting at what was. One day, all of these abandoned stores will be taken or demolished, and at that point, the remaining remnants of the once powerful toy chain will be lost in the United States. That's not to say that Toys R Us will disappear entirely, though. While the main company collapsed in the United States, most of their international branches still remain open. That's not to say it'll continue this way, but branches like the Canadian Toys R Us stores were bought out entirely and will remain under the Toys R Us name with a new owner. Honestly, Toys R Us never deserved the fate it got. Even towards the end, despite all of its built competition, the company was still bringing in close to $12.5 billion in sales. It was just their lengthy fight with debt, which honestly could have been very much avoided if the three companies who took it over didn't put so much debt on the shoulders of the retailer. It just took many years of building liabilities and slower sales to ultimately bring down the colossal retailer. While there was hope that a restructuring effort in 2017 would hopefully bail the company out, their horrendous holiday season was the last straw. For many people, including myself, it's incredibly sad to see this happen.
Yeah,
I very much remember going to the store.
I never went here a whole lot as a kid, but when I did, it was so nice.
I was obsessed with Jurassic Park as a kid, and I remember visiting the store in Times Square and being enthralled by the Jurassic Park section. While the American company no longer exists, the brand will likely live on in other countries for other cultures to enjoy. And while it may have been a staple of yours and many others' childhoods, in some parts of the world, it'll continue to do that for millions, just like it had been famously doing for the past 70 years.
I'm so thankful I got to grow up with them.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Abandoned. I really am interested in hearing your personal stories with the iconic retailer and what your thoughts are on the future of Toys R Us. For watching.
Abandoned SS United States.
How do we stuff Reese's peanut butter?
I don't eat
pretzels,
peanut butter.
caramel, peanuts, and chocolate into Reese's?
I don't enjoy peanut butter. Just the smell. I'm sorry, I don't like the smell of peanut butter.
my name is Jake, and welcome to Abandoned, episode 41. This is the show where we talk about some of the most interesting abandoned places in the world.
You know,
This episode
did you
of
know
Abandoned
once
is
Illinois used to
sponsored
have
by
gold-plated
Skillshare.
pyramid
The
that
first
burnt
300
down?
people who sign up with my link below will get their first 2 months for free. If you've ever passed through Philadelphia like I did a few months ago, you may have had the odd sight of a classic ocean liner, decaying and abandoned in the harbor of the huge modern American city. Today I wanted to look at the history of this very ship and why it's currently there in that state. Let's take a look at the SS United States. In the early 1940s, as World War II was raging on, the United States Army took notice of Britain's enormous and importantly fast ocean liners, most notably being the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth, both able to carry well over 10,000 troops and reach speeds of around 28 knots. After the SS Normandy's fire and subsequent sinking in New York, the U.S. Army commissioned a brand new ocean liner capable of high speeds and strong against any disaster, including fire. It was a joint venture between the Armed Forces and the United States Lines, a cargo and passenger transport company founded in 1921. The final design of their new vessel was drawn up from famous naval architect William Francis Gibbs, and would cost around $79 million, which is equivalent to around $820 million today. The name given to this very special ship was the SS United States. By the time construction began, however, the war had already been over for several years, and the primary purpose of this vessel would be for ocean crossing voyages. Through 1950 to 1952, the vessel was built to withstand tremendously tough situations. Wood was barely used on the vessel, only allowed in the kitchen for chopping boards, and in the lounge for pianos, which would be made of special fireproof wood. The hull would be made of various watertight compartments, which not only would provide strength, but buy the ship lots of time in the event of a flooding. To complement its sleek exterior design, the United States was given a luxurious interior, fitted to the highest standards of the 1950s. The vessel was a culmination of the best technology they had, and many of her features were even classified, as the SS United States was able to be quickly turned into a troop ship in the event she would be needed for another war. By July 3, 1952, the vessel took her maiden voyage from New York City to Cornwall, England. She set an astonishing world record of being the fastest ocean liner of her size to cross the Atlantic, a record previously set by the Queen Mary. It's a world record that actually still stands today at an average speed of 36 knots, and completing the journey in just 3 days and 10 hours, a feat that probably won't be broken for a very long time. The SS United States spent the next decade and a half completing transatlantic voyages in its now famous speed, but also an unparalleled luxury for an American vessel. Hundreds of notable celebrities and politicians sailed on the ship. People like Marlon Brando, John Wayne, Marilyn Monroe, and American presidents like Eisenhower, Truman, Kennedy, and even a young Bill Clinton. However, by the late 1960s, air travel was becoming more and more popular, and the demand for transatlantic ocean liner crossings were decreasing. The SS United States' kind of sister ship, the SS America, had already been sold by the line and taken off ocean crossings altogether. That vessel, by the way, met a very iconic fate in the 1990s, when it was being towed to Thailand and broke off during a storm. The ship ran aground on a beach in the Canary Islands, and was subsequently battered by waves until there was nothing left. Anyways, by 1969, both the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth had been taken off transatlantic crossings, and the SS United States was no longer profitable the way it was currently placed. The vessel was brought to Virginia for refurbishment. However, after assessment, United States Lines had decided to sell the iconic ocean liner. For the next couple of years, she sat vacant and abandoned in port, waiting for someone to make a bid. Eventually, by the early 1970s, the ship was purchased for $12 million and passed through several owners. In 1977, the vessel found itself in Atlantic City, with the prospect of turning the 990-foot ocean liner into a hotel and casino. While the developer promised to keep the original classic decor and themes, this concept just never came to fruition. Plans then shifted to floating condos. Around this time, cruising was becoming very popular, and companies were buying older ships and turning them into modern cruise ships. It was really only a matter of time that the SS United States would be in the running for this very concept. And in 1978, Richard Hadley purchased the vessel with the intent to turn it into some sort of floating timeshare cruise. And while, to be fair, his vision for the ocean liner came from a genuine place, the overall cost to complete what he wanted would have exceeded $200 million. While he tried to keep his dream afloat, there just wasn't the proper funding to do so. Around this time, Norwegian Cruise Lines were reportedly looking into purchasing the vessel and adding it to their fleet for Caribbean sailings. However, the company ended up purchasing the similarly designed SS France and refitting the vessel into a modern cruise ship. The United States sat vacant and unused through the 80s and into the early 90s. Her remaining interior fittings were sold at auction, and as the final timeshare concept collapsed, the SS United States was once again put up for sale. Marimura Marine Inc. had purchased the ocean liner for $2.6 million, with the intent to renovate the decaying ship and turn her into a passenger cruise. So the SS United States was towed to Turkey, then to the Ukraine, where she underwent an extensive gutting project to remove all former asbestos within the walls of her interior. This had all wrapped up in 1994, however at the renovation cost of $150 million. Of course, once again, funding couldn't be secured. By this time, scrapping was a serious threat for the vessel, as its value as a practical ship was continuing to sink. So it was brought back to America and docked at Philadelphia. Because she was no longer able to operate under her own power, the SS United States needed to be towed wherever she went, which is a very expensive and slightly risky thing to do. This meant, for right now at least, Philadelphia would become her new home. In 1996, the ship was miraculously purchased for $6 million by a private individual and an advocate to save the historic ocean liner. He had successfully listed the ship on the National Register of Historic Places and had set up several conservancy foundations. The United States was passed to his son once he died in 2002, and just a year later, surprisingly actually, Norwegian Cruise Lines had stepped in and purchased the entire ship with a similar intent they had nearly 25 years earlier. Norwegian Cruise Lines had been setting up a new subsidiary in their company called NCL America, a fleet of American-built and flagged vessels which would sail exclusively to domestic ports. NCL had already ordered their horrendously ugly Pride of America ship, and now the revamped SS United States.
The turtles are back. Yep.
Pride of America?
The big New York.
It looks like a normal cruise.
To domestic ports. NCL had already ordered their horrendously ugly.
Yeah, actually, never mind. Pride of America, but it's just white, bruh. Can we choose another color other than white? It's kind of an ugly color. It gets dirty. My PS5 is already showing some signs of getting dirty. I hate using the color white sometimes. It just gets dirty. Why not use like a nice, cool color like gray?
Pride of America ship, and now the revamped SS United States would join their fleet. Over the next few years, Norwegian Cruise Lines kept the United States docked in Philadelphia, commencing feasibility studies to narrow down a price on the renovations and logistics. Their assessment actually showed pretty good results, and in 2006, NCL's chairman was quoted saying the company was still committed to bringing the SS United States into their America fleet, and claiming they had more ships already on the way. However, the economic climate was beginning to turn, and tourism crashed as a whole in 2008. Spending a couple $100 million renovating an ocean liner built in the 1950s to serve a market it wasn't made for kind of makes no sense, especially for the company's somewhat failed NCL America division. So in 2009, rumors began circulating that Norwegian Cruise Line was going to sell the vessel for scrap to make some quick money. When news of this came out, the SS United States Conservancy attempted to raise the necessary funds to buy the ship off the company. A fundraiser was set up and greatly funded monetarily by Philadelphia entrepreneur H.F. Lenfest and supported by former President Bill Clinton. While NCL was reluctant to sell to them, they eventually accepted their offer at $3 million in 2011. Now the vessel was in full ownership of the SS United States Conservancy, a group that has always been fighting to find some purpose for what they claim is America's flagship vessel. Which it kind of is. Immediately after the Conservancy's purchase, the prospect of where the SS United States could go opened up. Places like Romanian Philadelphia or sailing to New York City and Miami became possibilities. And in 2010, a promising new multi-purpose entertainment complex was proposed to incorporate the ocean liner in South Philadelphia. This was all part of a massive waterfront development based around a new casino, one that was never able to secure a gambling license and subsequently fell apart. Over the next couple of years, the Conservancy began
Man, that thing looks like it's dying. Oh, the paint's all peeling off.
A city they had deemed unsuitable.
She looks like she's seen better days.
Some work had been done on the hull to keep up its deteriorating appearance. However, the money and donations they did take in likely went straight to paying rent and upkeep, which at the time was a reported $80,000 a month. A concept came up to move the SS United States to New York City, where it would have become an entertainment hub in the harbor. And while this concept was pushed in 2014, nothing ever came of it. This led to the Conservancy finally exploring the idea of selling the ship for scrap, as the now $60,000 monthly rent became overwhelming. Talks of turning the vessel into a museum came up and were pursued. However, while money came in, the ever-increasing decay of the vessel caused the upkeep and restoration expenses to skyrocket. The New York Times interviewed Susan Gibbs, the executive director at the United States Conservancy. She said the decision to open up the vessel for bids from scrapyards was, quote, excruciating, and said, "We've never been closer to saving the SS United States, and we've never been closer to losing her." Incredibly, in February of 2016, Crystal Cruises, a somewhat American luxury cruise line, showed great interest in purchasing the SS United States and completely remodeling the vessel into, once again, a cruise ship. Crystal Cruises began looking into the feasibility of their plan, so they offered to pay docking expenses for 9 months, while they sorted out the logistics and drew up their plan. And Crystal's concept for the ocean liner would entail pretty severe alterations of her upper decks. That kind of look awful, but I suppose it's the only way to make a vessel like this work in the modern cruise industry. So I guess this was the answer to all their problems, and now under the prestigious Crystal Cruises company, the SS United States would be brought back out to sea. Ah, for God's sakes. Yeah, so after the cruise line's evaluation of the vessel, they deemed the project to have too many commercial and technical challenges, and the company dropped out with a donation of $350,000 to the Conservancy. And that leads us to today, the abandoned SS United States resting in the harbor of America's 5th largest city. This ocean liner has seen quite a history. It began as a sleek vessel, capable of not only strength and speed, but the ability to quickly transition into a troop carrier in the event of World War III. And incredibly, it only served 18 years as a transatlantic ocean liner. The rest of its life saw various owners and tons of concepts never to be fulfilled. America's flagship vessel never really got its deserved use. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely think the SS United States should be saved. I think it's a gorgeous vessel that carries a lot of history.
It is. Look how old she
However,
looks.
the real logistics behind it
What a
are
pretty
probably
ship.
going to prevent it from ever becoming something again. I hope I am wrong, but at this point, 2 major cruise lines both opted out. Various big and small attempts have been made to turn this decaying vessel into something new and exciting, while returning it back to her former glory. Just none of these ever worked. Ideas such as turning the vessel into an underwater reef have been thrown around, and while that's not the fate most would like, it's certainly a better one than being scrapped.
It
The
is.
SS United
Yeah,
States
I don't
became
like
an
that
icon
fate,
of
but
the
it is
country
better
was
being
built.
scrapped.
It grew to become a legendary and prestigious piece of engineering, but ever since, it's been a battle to keep this very ship out of the scrapyard, only to become now one of the most famous decaying and abandoned ships in the world. For me personally, I've always been searching for specific editing techniques, and when it comes down to stuff I don't know about editing and even photography, Skillshare is the first place I go. It's an extremely useful site that offers over 19,000 courses on a wide range of topics. Final Cut Pro or any other useful editing software lessons live on the site, and it's something I always go to for professional and helpful tutorials to improve my work. Premium memberships begin at around $10 a month, but for the first 300 people who sign up with the link in the description, you can get your first 2 months of Skillshare for free. Anyway guys, my name is Jake. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, and thank you very much for watching.
The notorious abandoned mall closed for 2 years. Dude, I have a mall. It's actually pretty sad. Oh, you're still here, I forgot. But, man, it's... Ugh. What just happened? Why did these pillars disappear? Why is it lagging? What is going on? Bedrock, do we need to have a reality check? Why they just disappeared? Look! What's going on? Why are these blocks disappearing? What is going on? Look, they're not... Why are these blocks disappearing? Excuse me? Minecraft, are you okay? Why are these blocks disappearing? I can't... I put these andesite blocks down. And they disappear. Let me build! Why is it... It's not... Oh my god! Please, let me build! What? Look, do you see my share screen? But then it... Damn it. Oh, watch this. Ready? Like that. And then... Minecraft Bedrock moment. Minecraft? What the frick? Why is it doing that? And then, thank you. And two of my pillars disappear. Why is it this hard to do something in this stupid game? Minecraft Bedrock moment for you. Yeah, you know, it's stupid when I place... I think it's working now. I doubt it. Nope, it's not. Just build. This is all... This storage room can be done right now. But no. Procrastinate. And watch, when I build this, something disappears. What? Wait, you know what? Set block. 1. Polished. What? Like, it's literally, like, disappearing. What is going on, Minecraft? Okay, thank you. Disappear. All my freaking pillars are gone. Watch this. Look, I could place concrete normally, right? This, nope. All these, nope. And then watch. Well, watch. It's gonna pretend to place normally. I don't know how to explain that. I'm sorry, stream, but this is why I hate when people say Bedrock has all the good stuff. Bedrock has more better stuff. Bedrock gets better treatment than Java. Really? Yeah, you do. Bedrock. $20 for you. Bedrock. By the way. Bedrock for you. Damn, dude, it won't even... Are you playing your world? What the hell, man? I don't know what to say. This stupid ass storage room is taking me forever. And it's like, oh, wait, look, I did it. And then when I go to build something out, look, watch. And it's like, oh, look, it's normal, it's working. And you try to build this. I don't know how to explain this, people. And apparently it says, because your internet connection is badly, or you're placing blocks too quickly. Watch. Place. And I'm not lagging because the server is literally on my thing, okay? Look at my frame rate. Smooth, right? Smooth frame rate. And let's spawn a mob right now, right? Chicken. Let's go for a chicken. Like it just... Oh my god. You know, the chicken's moving very normally, so it's not lagging. Why couldn't it not work with... Does it not work with granite? Let's try granite. And let's try bird crap block. It's... What? It doesn't want to work with either of these blocks, by the way. Screw it. I'm replacing this. It doesn't want to work with the stone blocks. Why couldn't it just not solely worked with the what's it called? No, I have a better idea. I have no idea why Minecraft thinks it needs to devolve. Okay, so let's do. Would we rather, I don't know, remove guns from our games? Would we rather, you know, try to remove guns from games, which are pretty harmless? Or would we just fix Bedrock? Wait, hold on. What's that? We'd rather remove guns from our games than actually service our community? Brilliant! This will make the investors happy. John, get everybody on this. I don't know what the hell just happened there, stream. Minecraft can't function. Exploring an untouched abandoned hotel.
The pandemic has left a permanent mark on many industries across the planet. The hospitality sector was particularly hit hard, and today we're going to take a look inside one of the casualties of it. This hotel has been around since the mid-1970s and continued to operate successfully for many decades. In early 2020, though, it closed for good and has been sitting here, rotting away in near perfect condition. Doesn't seem to be working. this is actually really big. Batteries, what's this? These two remotes? Oh, this is like a motion sensor. It looks like they were trying to secure this place with motion sensors, but yeah, clearly that didn't work. You could tell what hotel brand this was just by the green lights out front. This is... Welcome to the grill.
My God, it's like,
Oh wow. Oh my god, this is all made up. All these tables
Dude,
are literally...
it's like you just snapped, everybody disappeared. It's such good, yeah. Stinky. You there? Yup. Give me a second. Hey, what you doing? What's he doing? What? Did mom kick him off? Did mom kick him off? What? Give me a second. God, that's one of my favorite. That's one of my most requested things. I'm not saying I want to rob a bank. I want to say I want to find an old one and explore it. Like an old, dilapidated, like far abandoned bank. I'm not saying like one of these new ones, like where they shut it down like a few months ago. I'm talking like an old, like at least a few decades old. Like one of those like selling areas that like no one uses. I'm gonna quit stream. Sorry guys.